two, one. Hey guys, we are live. We're live all over the internet. My name is Jason J. Daniel. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. We're live on X. We are live on Rumble. 4 places. It's pretty crazy. Thanks for watching. I am just enjoying my night. The NFL draft is going on right now. And I'm a big football fan. If you don't know, now you know. I have a TikTok that has 8,000 followers, a little under, but we'll embellish for you. Hey, it's the internet. So I have a TikTok. I am the Coach Goat on TikTok. I do just strictly sports on one of my channels. I have a couple of channels as well. And we like to talk football. So tonight, I'm just watching the NFL draft. Thought I'd go live if you guys wanted to join in and have a quick conversation about what is going on. Pretty interesting night tonight. I'm a big football fan. If you're not, I'm not going to bore you by all the technicalities. I'm just going to talk about the draft and what's important. So I'll just put it to you this way. If you're not a major football fan and you watch this this podcast, I'll give you some key things to talk about tomorrow with your friends. How's about that? Okay, so tonight was the NFL draft. If you're not familiar with the draft, every year new guys come into the league. It's the top players in college football are drafted into the big leagues. This year there was some interesting controversy. The Deion Sanders group, that team, the Colorado kids, dominated the conversation, absolutely dominated it, which was completely unfortunate because they're not that good. These players are not that good. Travis Hunter is going to be a bust. Spoiler alert, he's not that good. Shedeur Sanders, Deion's son, is so bad that he didn't even show up to the draft today. He didn't even go to Green Bay where everybody else is at. He's sitting at home because they got the message that there isn't a team that wants to take on the headache that is Shedeur Sanders. So there you go. So please follow me if you haven't followed me before on IG, Rumble, YouTube, Snap. I'm Jason J. Daniel everywhere. Now, if you want to follow me on TikTok, I did not create a graphic for that, but on TikTok, I am real Jason J. Daniel, Coach Goat. So if you just put in Coach, yes, Goat like Goat, greatest of all time, Coach Goat, or real Jason J. Daniel in that old TikTok machine, you're going to find me and you can see all of my TikTok videos. I have talked about football for 2 years on TikTok and college football and NFL, pro football. I understand both games really well, and I understand how they translate. I've been around for a little bit, so I can tell if a guy is going to translate, and I can tell if a guy's not. Now, it's all risky. Nobody knows what's going to happen. If you look at every draft throughout the years, you're always going to see guys that were drafted in the top 10. And in most cases, those draft classes just don't pan out. Usually it's somebody like Tom Brady, who was 199, pick 199 overall, who became a legend and he's the greatest quarterback in history. Or like Brock Purdy, who's playing right now and he's fairly phenomenal, but he was a low draft pick. So getting pick number 1 is almost something you just don't want. It's kind of a curse. So there's that. And now sometimes number 1 picks do really well, but most of the time it's a running back that does very well. They have a really great running back in this class, Ashton Jeanty, who was cheated out of the Heisman. He was unstoppable, played very stiff competition, would get over 150 yards a game. I'm not sure what his average was, sometimes pushing 200 yards. He was good for 2 to 3 touchdowns, no matter who they played, road or home. Boise was a great team that he played on, and he made them fairly good, made them absolutely unstoppable in a lot of cases. Now, obviously, stats aren't everything, and it's really tough for college teams to actually get into bowls and actually succeed just because the system is so weird. Plus, with NIL money and all of these guys that are really, really good in college just getting paid millions, before they get out of college, it does water down the draft class a little bit, and it makes things really interesting. So we'll see going forward how that translates. Attitudes are different, right? Guys don't need the money. now. Every guy getting picked in the top 10 already millionaires. It's really crazy. It's like a mini pro class before they get to the pros. It's odd. Never before in history have amateurs gotten paid this much money in sports. Now we're talking sports all around. Um, every sport in college now has NIL money, and now it's a thing. So the athletes get paid really well. So I'll say this: for an athlete to compete at a high level in college, it means that he or she really wants it, because at this point, when you're a star and you're making all this money, what is the motivation, right? Now, if a player now gets into the draft and they do really well in their first year or two, NFL wise, that's great news, right? That shows you that that player already has what it takes to overcome being very successful. That's really kind of a motivation killer if you've already made it, right? A lot of these college players on social media are already super famous. They're already just making a ton of money. And I don't want to sound like that guy, okay, boomer, but it is changing the game. It might make it better. I'm open minded. So let's talk about the draft. If you haven't been watching it, or if you're watching it right now, I watched the first couple of picks and decided to go live. I'm just going to talk to you maybe through the first 10, just to see, honestly, where Janty goes. I stopped watching it, so he might already be picked up by now. He's the best running back we've seen in, I think, 10 years. He's unbelievable. He was not picked in the top 4 or 5 when I came on. So not sure what's going on there. I'm going to jump to ESPN here and do some refreshing. Oh, he got picked 6. Wow. Okay. So Janty goes 6. Let me share my screen. I think that's going to be quite interesting. That's really cool. He's going to the Raiders, which is, I could see that working really well. Okay, so here's ESPN for you guys. Let me take this banner off. Here we go. I always have the banner gets stuck there. Okay, so here I am. So Cam Ward went to the Titans, number 1 overall. This is ESPN's draft board. Travis Hunter went to the Jags at number 2. We'll talk about Hunter in a second. And looks like we had, I didn't see who 4 was. 3 was Carter, went to the Giants. Not sure what the Giants are doing. I don't get that. And then we have, I'm not sure who 4 was, and we have Graham at 5. Browns. It was a lineman. A lineman went 4. And then we have a defensive tackle. So we have defense, solid line defense, and then we have Janty at running back. On the clock is that Titans? Who is that? I'm sorry, is that Jags? No, not Jags. Oh, it is. Oh, Jets. That logo is weird. Sorry, guys. Okay. So Jets, that's interesting. So Janty from Boise. Let's talk about Janty going to the Raiders. So let's see here. Janty. Okay, here we go. So he's a beast. He's a monster. 5'9", 215, a little undersized for running back, but can still kill it, right? Boise State. He's 21, very young, which is what you want in a running back, and picked up by the Raiders. So let's take a look at his stats. Let's see here. Okay, so these are NFL stats. Got it. These aren't his college stats. Wonder why we're not getting his college stats. Okay, well, here, let's look at the player card. Here we go. Well, let's see here. Game log. No, that puts him right at the Raiders. Okay, right on. Well, anyway, Janty is fantastic, and good for the Raiders. The Raiders have a lot of problems, but they have a good ownership team that's really trying to clean that up. And look for the Raiders to be a whole brand new team this year. A lot of disgruntled guys. They just didn't have what it took to really be competitive. Just their coach is one of the worst coaches in the NFL. That's a thing. So look for a lot of changes for the Raiders. But I like Janty going to Las Vegas. I like that a lot. The Raiders are a very running back heavy offense, specifically because they've just had problems getting a quarterback that is really legitimate and can win in the playoffs or just win games late in the season. Winning games late in the season is really important. So what I'm going to do is I need to, darn it, I have to set up, I forgot to do my sound check, which is super important. Let's see here. Oh, thanks for watching, guys. Oh, let me see if there's any comments. If you want to comment here, I can see your comments in the live chat. I can see everybody that's posted. So thank you guys for checking out my live. So I'm very happy with. I'm just a big Janty guy, as you can tell. Like it's. I just think it's really important that he get. He go with a team. Membo, okay, O line. So went to the Jets. What's interesting to me is there's a lot of linemen going. Really weird to me in the top 6 or 7. I think 3 of these guys, you went skill players 3, and then the other 3 line. And I think that's just a hype show. I really just think that there isn't a lot of very skilled players this year like there was last year. But that's good news because you don't want a lot of hype on skilled players. You want guys that are solid. But like last year with Caleb Williams, we all know that was just a mess. He's not a leader. He's not a starter. He's not even a starting quarterback. So that's going to be a problem. He's going to have a tough next year. The Bears just don't have what it takes. They have older wide receivers. Their coaching staff is just not that smart. They've made changes at coaching. We'll see how that goes. Bears are not going to go anywhere with Williams. He's a backup. So a lot of these guys are backups. They get pushed forward, they get overhyped, and then they just can't perform. One of the biggest things that people misunderstand is that the translation to the college game, the college translation to the program game. Sorry, I'm my own producer, so I have to set up all my stuff here. Let's see here. Is really, really difficult. It's whoops. Sorry guys. Doing my own sound check here. It's where's the edit? Here we go. It's really, really tough to translate from the college game, especially when you did not play in a competitive conference. It's extremely difficult to translate that over. So it's just a gamble. So as far as I'm concerned, we don't know what we're going to get until a couple of years out. Every draft class really will show you what they're made of in like the 3rd year. Now, when you get a Jaden Daniels that comes out of nowhere and plays very, very freaking well, that's an anomaly. It does happen every couple of years. He's an anomaly, but think about this. He was not drafted number 1. Look at him at Washington, which was a very beat up and bad team as well. Washington was not a good team. They rebuilt that team around him. And guys just stepped up and they got a lot of really good breaks. They played, in some cases, weaker competition, but took advantage of that. Washington was just as bad as the Bears. Some people may even say the Bears were not as bad, that they were better. And look what happened. So leadership counts. Quarterbacking is leadership right now. It's really what it's about. Every guy coming out of college now has a simple system that they work through. And Tom Brady even said it himself. It's just a really dumbed down game for young quarterbacks because there's just so much expectation to get them to pop. And finding a quarterback that really can take your team to the promised land is super rare. I mean, 1 out of 31, right? 1 out of 32. It's rare. It's really rare that a quarterback is going to get you there. There's only one team that's going to be left standing. And there's only so many jobs. Think about that. You look at all the NFL teams, how many of those teams have a starting quarterback? Okay, 1 per team. There's that's the amount of jobs in the world. There's a handful, 24, a little more than 24 guys that have that job in the NFL. So it's not an easy job. So my point is to take a guy out of college who washed out like Williams. He did not He was not a good leader at the end of his college career. He rolled over. He got paid too much NIL money. He just was soft. And then you move him into a really historic franchise that's expecting a lot. He just fell apart. He just wasn't there. And also part of it was his leadership. A lot of guys were kind of questioning his leadership under fire and his decision making. The coaches got fired for, there was a lot of the coach got fired or however that went down for his decision, for the decision making towards the end of the year with some of their dumb play calls. But a lot of it has to do with the quarterback. The quarterback has to communicate with the coaches. And when the quarterback gets out there, he's ultimately making those choices. Caleb Williams is not that guy. So they're going to have another bad year, whatever it is. They're stuck. But now let's talk about Cam Ward. Now, Cam, he was in the hunt for the Heisman. Fantastic year. Played on a solid team. He's kind of a quiet leader, and he has solid stats. So I just don't know if he's the number one. Honestly, I think Janty should have been number one, but he was number 5, so that's close enough. He went to the Raiders. Good, like I said earlier, that's a good place for him. I don't have a lot to say about Ward. Not a lot of people were singing his praises until the draft started to heat, so we started to get close. Then everyone was saying Cam Ward could be number one. I hate when teams draft quarterbacks number one. One, there's a lot of pressure to start them, and you shouldn't. It wasn't like that in the old days, but now there is, because a lot of guys are having difficulty at quarterback. Think about it. There's just a lot of terrible quarterback play in the NFL. The defenses aren't as good as people say they are. It's not the defenses, the quarterbacks. Like, for example, if you take a Tom Brady or anybody like that, plug him in against any defense in the NFL, he's going to shred them. Any defense now or then, because it's about the quarterback. It's not about the defense. So all these quarterbacks blaming defenses and all these new defensive schemes and it's just bullshit. You just don't have. I mean, look at Dallas. They paid their stud so much money, and he crumbled and then eventually got hurt. That was a lost year, a wasted year. You only have so many years to get a team to the promised land, to get them to that ring. And it's all about wins. Now, if you're younger than 30, you don't think it's about wins because you've been programmed by this world system to think that everything is participation awards. Everything is pat on the back. You know, somebody fumbles and it costs the game. They have to post an apology on social media, and these teams put hearts and crying emojis, and they want to post updates. Oh, they're going to get married. They're going to have a baby. You celebrate mediocrity. Basically, you're celebrating all they're doing. These brands, these teams, especially the NFL, they're celebrating in the NFL itself. They're celebrating guys that are mediocre and just celebrating their lives like they're just major celebrities that we should care about. So when they get on the field, it doesn't matter if they win or lose. We're invested in them as a story and their family. That's just bullshit. That's not football. That's not sports. I'm old school. It's the way it is. This is not sports. This is not this. So what we're dealing with is a lot of spoiled brats, a lot of pampered guys. Now, yes, I know what you're saying. You've never played it down in the NFL, so shut up. Whatever. That doesn't matter. Look, we're paying for it. We're paying a lot of money for this stuff. So we have an opinion. And you know what? We've been watching football for years. So we know what winning and losing looks like. We know this. So there's that. Okay, so let's talk about I dropped my banner, which is kind of somebody joining there not sure what I'm talking about. We're talking about the NFL, guys. So thanks for joining. My name is Jason J. Daniel. This is Jason J. Daniel Show. This is actually the first NFL show I've done in like 2 months. I covered a lot of different topics, but if you go down in my archive, you'll see I've done NFL. We did Super Bowl. We did some post-Super Bowl stuff. This is last year I did a lot of stuff up to the draft, but it wasn't important to me this year, one, because there wasn't really any compelling stories. Now, I know what you're saying. You're saying, well, the Deion Sanders kids, Hunter and Shador, they were the story. They're so good. That's the story. Travis Hunter won the Heisman. Okay, whatever. But let's talk about that. So Travis Hunter goes to the Jags. Um, I guess you should know. Let me show you something before I talk about Deion Sanders, Travis Hunter, and the Jags and Shador. Okay, now let's see. Has Shador been drafted? Let's see. Probably. What's our draft? Let me go to the draft board here and see what it looks like so far. Um, yeah. So okay. So here's an interesting story. Let's go back to. I know I'm all over the place, but let's go back to Janty really quick. Let me go back to Janty. An interesting story just popped up here. And again, Janty went to the Raiders. Let's see here. Let me share again. Screen share, draft news, share. Okay, cool. I'm my own producer, guys. Okay. All right, cool. So Raiders draft Janty with first pick in the Carroll era, right? That's actually really important. So Las Vegas Raiders selected Boise State running back Ashton Janty with number 6 pick in the draft. Really smart. Their first pick under coach Pete Carroll and general manager John Spytek. Let's see here. Janty, regarded as one of the top overall players in this year's draft, he should have been number 1, had a historic season at Boise State, like I was talking about. The Texas native was the Heisman Trophy runner-up after finishing with 2,600 rushing yards, second most in the season college football history, trailing only Barry Sanders in 88. Janty also had 29 touchdowns in 6 games with at least 200 yards. That's crazy. So you got Chip Kelly as the offensive coordinator, who I hate Chip Kelly. He's a mess. He really ruined UCLA. He's a bad coach, but whatever. He's an offensive coordinator. He's not really ahead. Maybe this will work. Now, Pete Carroll is a stud. He's an old school guy. He knows how to win. You've got Tom Brady in the mix now. Expect the Raiders to have a really decent year. I don't know how far they're going to go, but this is a huge pick. I know the Raiders are celebrating because they are a running back heavy offense. Now, if they can just get a quarterback or get some quarterback play that is settled, they're gonna need a guy, maybe a fresh new guy. I don't know, something, maybe a guy on their bench. I don't know. It's tough. The Raiders are a tough sell for me, but with Janty and Carroll, I'm feeling good. Now you've got very new player, new school, and you got Carroll, the old school. Carroll's a player's coach. He knows how to coach stars through his college and his pro career. Carroll knows how to win. He knows how to manage personalities. And from what I've read and understand, Janty's a very humble guy. He got screwed on the Heisman for a guy that's not even close to his talent level because of hype, and he didn't really complain. He just took it on the chin. Now, there's something to be said about that. There's something to be said about that. If a guy is always like rolling over and getting screwed and not fighting back, that's kind of not something I want to see. But being on the Raiders and having to earn it and having to start from the bottom, that's going to teach the guy something. He's starting from the bottom. He's not going to a stacked team. He's not going to a team like, let's say Kansas City, where they have revolving running backs and everybody that plugs in that system that carries the ball does really well. That actually would be an ideal situation for somebody like him or somebody with even close to his talent level, because you can sit on that bench, get in the rotation. It's obviously a pass-heavy offense. There isn't a lot of pressure on the running back to be the star. That would be important for a young guy coming in. But I think the same situation for the Raiders is here for him as well. There's not going to be a lot of pressure on him. And look, Pete Carroll knows, there's really going to be a lot of pressure on everybody just to look, if they have a winning season, the Raiders, you're in great shape. If I'm a Raiders fan, I'd give everything for that. Just have a winning season. If you don't make the playoffs, it's okay, but just be competitive. Keep your expectations super low, and you will not be disappointed when it comes to the Raiders. But they've had years of trouble trying to get it together. I didn't want to get into a lot of Raiders talk per se, but since we're talking about it, My only concern would be maybe Pete Carroll. Maybe he is a little outdated. Maybe he is a little out of touch. Now, he's a healthy guy. He does his thing. He practices with the guys. He's almost 80 or something. I mean, he looks really great. But some of these these older guys coming back in, it's a generational thing. I mean, look at Harbaugh. Harbaugh came in. It's not the same thing, but close. Harbaugh has not won an NFL championship, but Harbaugh is an ex-player, so there's something to be said about that. But he came into a situation, and in my opinion, he made them worse. I mean, they were competitive at times, but I just did not think the Chargers were going to go anywhere. And with Harbaugh, I deep down think that he's not the coach that anybody wants for the long haul. He does heavily rely on gimmicks and tricks and cheating. He's one of the biggest cheatingest coaches in the history of the college game and now in the NFL, other than Belichick. He's number one in the NFL, but Harbaugh's a cheater, and everybody knows it. So he's more restricted in the NFL. He can't do the cheating shenanigans he got away with in the college game. So that could be part of the problem why he didn't have a lot of success right away. I'm getting off topic, but we'll get back to coaches. But back to Pete Carroll. I see at least this year. Let's see how it goes. So with Janty, look, you're starting off great. That's fantastic stuff. So I'm happy for Janty, but very happy. Big fan. So I'm going to look forward to I'll be watching a lot of Raiders games. I want to see how Janty plays. And I actually have no doubts that he's going to do well. Will that defense be able to sustain any lead that the Raiders get? Remains to be seen. But I like what we're looking at with him. Catch out of the backfield. I mean, I just can't stop talking about him. I mean, and that turf, that stadium, his home stadium in Vegas, tailor-made for a guy like that. Boise had an incredible track that they played on, and he would just tear that up. Very good pick for the Raiders. And I think you're going to hear a lot of experts say the same thing. I think that's a fantastic pick. And it will revitalize that franchise, which needs it. So let's talk about Travis Hunter. Okay, now before we get into the Travis Hunter thing, I need to show you something about me and Deion Sanders. Okay, we do have a connection here. There's a conversation to be had, but I need you to see this before I start talking about Deion and Travis Hunter and Shedeur, because all of their fates are intertwined. Okay, let me jump to the screen share again. Here we go. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen again. Now this is Coach Prime. This is Deion Sanders. It is his X account. Okay. I'm going live just to prove that this is real. I'm refreshing it. Okay. This is me, right? I can't do anything because I've been blocked. But look, okay, see this is active. This is my account, okay? Deion Sanders has blocked me. Okay. Coach Prime, the most, I guess, celebrated two-way player in history. I mean, I still think he's one of the greatest players ever in the NFL. I still respect him, even though he blocked me. I still love you, Deion. But why did he block me? Okay, you're asking. I'm very critical of Deion Sanders over the last year. But the year before I wasn't. I was a big Colorado fan. I was all in on Colorado. I was excited. But when I saw what they were doing, and they were just basically putting the worst product they could on the field, pretending to have a team that was legitimate and stealing everyone's money and continuing to lose, and then next year his entire team leaves essentially in the portal. I was very hard on Sanders, and I was being honest. So on my TikTok account, I had millions of views on a lot of my videos where I was really tough on Colorado. We're talking 800,000, a million. My videos were doing well. Last year, I think I did 20 million on TikTok video with my views. But I did a lot of Colorado stuff and got thousands of hateful comments. I mean, unbelievable stuff. So, yeah, there you go. So, Coach Prime, I just need to establish Deion Sanders. And just so you know, Okay, can you see me right there? I'm blocking, but I'll just prove that I'll prove it's my account. There we go. I'm home. That's me. Okay, so we'll stop sharing here. So okay, so that being said, that being said, um, because of my TikTok account and also my ex account would get hundreds of thousands of views on tweets where I talked about him. They blocked me. They were pretty mad at me. The Colorado University accounts hate me. Every time I'd post something, I would ratio them because I was being hypercritical. Okay. So you can go to my TikTok, real Jason J. Daniel, Coach Goat, and you can see my TikTok videos in Colorado. A lot of my criticism was on Sanders, his coaching, and the fact that he just wasn't honest about the fact that he had limitations. Plus the whole, and look, I love wearing sunglasses everywhere. You know, I do that in all my videos. But the whole sunglasses, um, press conferences, and then yelling at the reporters. Look, I hate reporters too. We all do. Yelling at the reporters, doing what he did to me to reporters, keeping them out of the reporter room, just crazy stuff. And then letting his students be very undisciplined on the field and just show people up. And so for the first half of the season last year, it was just a lot of shenanigans. They were rude to people. They got a win. They posed on them. They were annoying. Look, you saw it like I did. Very annoying. On top of it, the media worships Deion Sanders. And every time you would try to watch a Colorado game, all it was worship. Deion Sanders worship, Travis Hunter worship, Shedeur worship, so much worship. It was just making me crazy. And at times, most times, because every Colorado game would be interesting. You tune in, they bring eyeballs. Most times, I would turn the sound off. I just couldn't stand every time they said anything. They were even when they were talking about the other team. Fox Sports and CBS could not stop worshiping Deion Sanders. So they're a little mad at me. He blocks me. Okay, there you go. So that being said, Travis Hunter, I watched every game he played for 2 years, kept track of everything. I watched as much tape as anybody else that wasn't in the game or there or one of the sports guys. Okay, okay. So I had a very good feel for what Travis Hunter could bring to the game, which was pretty much not a lot. So I was very critical of him because of most of his touchdowns, push-off touchdowns. Most of his success came from him being allowed to bend the rules. You take half of those push-off touchdowns away and call offensive pass interference, which should have been called. He has half the stats. There were some games, 2 games last year, totally shut out. One game he pretended to have an injury. On defense, he is a guy that if he's in the right place at the right time, he's going to have a defensive play. So I'm not going to take away from the fact that he was dominant against very bad teams that they played. One of my biggest complaints with Colorado or criticisms is they never played a ranked team until the very end of last year, and they couldn't beat any ranked teams. And when they got ranked, it was just an anomaly. It was a joke. It was to get them in so we could see, okay, the ranking is picked by the sports writers. AP Top 25, college football, all sports media guys, writers, guys on TV. So they purposely let Sanders slip into the top 25 towards the end of last year to see if that team could do anything, and they couldn't do anything. They couldn't do shit, okay? Shedeur had interesting comeback games, but this team's they were always having to play a comeback game. Their defense was terrible, and if they happened to be successful, all they would do would pose on people. When you put their records for 2 years overall, that's a losing record. So Deion Sanders is a failure as a college coach. That's the facts. That's the stats. So I'm critical of that. One of the reasons is people spend thousands of dollars to go to these games and to see losing, right? Or, wherever on the road or at Colorado, all you would see is losing. Now, I understand some people don't care. They want to go see the show. They want to see whatever it happens to be they're seeing. I just never saw what was so special with Colorado when you had other teams in the top 25 duking it out every Saturday, and you had great dog fights better football than you would ever see in a Colorado game. But it just seemed like Colorado got every nationwide TV hit because we're all watching it, and it was almost like they were in their own another universe. I'm just getting crazy here. Let me take a drink. It was almost like they were in a whole nother universe playing just like them versus all these like baby teams, right? Guys that just weren't at that level. They were all, no disrespect. Some of those teams are tough, and they did make it hard on Sanders and his team, but that's the point. The teams that they were playing made it hard on them. So Sanders' players were not at that caliber of all the other teams in the other divisions. Okay, there you go. So, sorry. So, I have pretzels. That being said, I just did not see Travis Hunter as a Heisman winner. I did not see what people saw. Everything they said was bullshit. He's the greatest. He's undersized. No, and whenever look, he's a tough. I'll give him this. He's a tough guy. He's a tough guy. It's for him to play all those downs. It's very difficult. Rod Woodson, Hall of Famers who did that. Dion, there's certain guys that believed in Travis Hunter. A lot of guys believe in him. Okay, cool. So today he goes to the Jags. The Jags trade down, or they trade up so they could get higher in the draft. They trade with the Browns so they get the Browns pick, which is insane. I don't know why the Browns wouldn't. I just don't know why they didn't keep their pick and take Janty, whatever. So Travis Hunter goes to the Jags. Shedeur Sanders, was all this hype about him. He's sitting at home because he dropped out of the first round. The projection was don't even go because only the first round guys go and hang out. Don't go because you'll be sitting there. You're not going to get picked up in the first round. Now, I haven't been watching it because I'm not interested after the first 5 or 6 picks. I really wanted to see where Janty was going. Now that you're probably watching it, I'll catch up with it later on, but I'll finish what I was saying about Travis Hunter. So you might think he's the best player in the NFL. He's not. I'm sorry, in college, he's not. He wasn't. There's so many other wide receivers much better than him. Texas had great wide receiver play. USC, you name it, Miami. He just wasn't that good. He's just not. So when you put a guy that's mediocre with a bunch of guys that are under him, he's going to be the giant in a land of children, right? So overhyped. The Heisman, no one with that unimpressive statistical. Let me reframe that. He's the first Heisman winner that was just underwhelming with stats. There were all the other guys deserved to win it instead of him. All the other runner-ups should have won it. It was all about the hype machine with Sanders, and here we are. So it worked because he got picked number 2, which is, look at $50 million, $60 million bucks, huge contract. The next couple of years, he's going to be rich forever if he doesn't squander it. He made it, and he's already rich because of NIL. He's a celebrity. He's going to be famous. So we'll see where that goes. He's going to Jacksonville. They have a really, really good quarterback. That's a head case. They have decent wide receivers. He has a hard time getting the ball to them. Their offensive line struggles. Their running game is pretty decent. But their defense is where they needed help. So here's where Travis Hunter fits in. They're not playing him at wide receiver. They're telling the so-called scouts and experts that, which it's hitting it's hitting social media. He's going to play both sides. He's not. He's not. First of all, those monsters will destroy him. Nobody can do it. Don't you think somebody else would have done it before him? It's not the second coming of Jesus, and all of a sudden, now he can do it. And there's tons of guys that wanted to do it. But who does do it? That's stupid. It's stupid. To say you want to play both sides of the ball in the NFL is basically saying, I want to be in a car wreck 100 times on a Sunday. That's what it is. Hell, There's tons of guys that could play on both sides of the ball in the NFL. You don't think these guys aren't ultra talented? And I'll say this, most of them, okay, most of them, all of them in the NFL are much more talented than he is because they're there. They're already there. So he's going to be playing against monsters. And plus, why would you, okay, why would you let this guy come in and be a diva if you're a wide receiver and take your catches? There's too many wide receivers that are very, very good in the NFL. And there's too many wide receivers just in general. So no one's going to come in and say, "Here, Travis, take my catches." Come on, that's nuts. So he's going to be, here's where I'm going. Jags they need more defensive help than they need offensive help. He's playing defense, 100%. Because there's already veterans on that team that want that ball. If he gets the ball, he's going to be in the slot. They'll put him in a few times, but there's no way he's going to play every single down like he does in Colorado because that is insanity. Nobody that wants to keep their body in good shape, nobody that doesn't want to get CTE, there's nobody that doesn't want to have a nice week where they're not banged up and in bed essentially all week trying to recover from game to game. Nobody wants that. So why would you let a guy, and also if you're a good coach, you're not going to let a guy play both sides of the ball. It's dangerous. It's crazy. It's just crazy. So if he does do it, if for some miracle Deion's got power. He's probably the most right now after this in the Heisman. Deion's one of the most powerful guys in the NFL. Okay, in football in general. He runs Colorado. Deion knows power. He has put himself in the most powerful position he can put himself in. So yeah, he can make a call and make it happen. I suppose Jackson will do whatever he wants. That's why this even happened. But there's no way that if you're a really good organization and you put all this money into this guy, you're going to let him play both sides of the ball and get smashed play after play. Not happening. No, not happening. Wide receivers get pummeled. They get hurt all the time. Not going to happen. Plus, Trevor Lawrence is going to put him in. He puts his wide receivers in jeopardy. He's not that guy yet. He does not understand how to get the ball to guys in a safe spot. Guys do get hurt on that team. So it's just not. I don't see it happening. So I think the master plan for the Jags was to maybe sweeten the deal, get Hunter some possible reps, maybe on the wide receiver side, but they're going to play him on the defensive side if he even plays at all. Okay, so that's the Hunter Travis. So we're done with the hype. He's out of college. He resets. Let's just see where it goes. My last thoughts would be on Shedeur. I don't think he got picked up, but you never know. I'm just refreshing the draft info here to see if I'm missing anything. Sanders, okay, somebody just tweeted Sanders is still on the board. He says, I think it would be a steal. This is a second ago. Steal for the Dolphins to take him here. Now, I would say this. Let's see here. Where are we at in the draft? Back to the draft. I'll say this. Okay, so we are at we're at 13. Okay, so yeah, edge, guard. There's been a lot of O-line. It's interesting. So yeah, a lot of the skilled players are just not hot. They're just not hot like they were hot last year. So you're getting a lot of line play, which is important. As you can see with the Chiefs, as you can see what happened with the Niners when they fell apart this year, line makes a difference. Then you got defensive line that makes a difference. There's a lot of money into being a lineman nowadays. So there you go. That's intriguing. So right now they're at 13. I don't think Shedeur is going to go at 13, but I could see that happening for Miami because clearly, I'll say this. Miami has a serious quarterback conundrum, dilemma, problemo. You've got a guy that's not going to last much longer out there with all of his concussions. Tua gets, we saw it happen last year. And you could tell Miami changed their offense up just to get through the year. They weren't trying to win. Tua is not that guy that's going to be able to play much longer in the NFL. He's one concussion away from retirement. He should have retired last year. Fuck. But he didn't. So I could see Miami picking him up. But one last thing on Shador. Um, I will say this. Shador has more upside than Travis Hunter does because Hunter was drafted at 2. He's been hyped, all these things. The Heisman, all these things he hasn't deserved. He's been completely oversold, and it's going to be really tough for him to really prove it this year. That's not easy because he can't do it. So he's going to have a rough year. Now, Shador is different. He actually has a lot of upside. If he is picked in the second or third round, that is best for him. He's got what it takes, but he doesn't have the attitude. The reports were that he just talks shit about everybody, even his own teammates, over him, tired of him. He bossed everybody around. They had to kiss his ass, kiss his ring. He's a millionaire baby. His daddy's the coach. Who would go to that situation? If you're a smart kid and you have smart advisors or parents, you're like, you're not going to Colorado. There's nobody that succeeds there except handpicked guys that Dion wants to manipulate to success. It is what it is. Look, maybe all the college teams do that, but we're just talking about the Sanders situation. It's super engaging and intriguing because not many guys out there in college are coaching their own kid, and not many guys out there in college can have their kid hang out with Tom Brady and all these other studs and hoping he's going to be mentored into being a superstar. It didn't work. Now, at the college level, he wasn't even good enough to go to a better team. I know they retired his jersey in Colorado, but that's part of the hype. He's not the best quarterback they've ever had. He had decent stats, but again, just like Travis Hunter, Shador is playing against a really weak field of teams, just weak competition. So at this point, they went to the combine. They just did press conferences and just talked like they were already famous, which they are, talked like they were already in the league, but pretty much they were, talked like they were rich. They just have attitude problems. And that's one of his biggest hits is all the teams were really disgusted with his attitude from what we were this is media stuff. You can look it up. And a lot of teams are like, we're not taking this guy who he's not ready to be a starter. He's just not. A lot of that has to do with the coach. If you come out of a system in college and your coach has got you prepared for the NFL, it shows. And if you're that good, you don't drop to 2 or 3 in the rounds. You just don't. You go in the first round somewhere. Now, he could be picked up before the end of this round. I'm not going to be podcasting by the time that happens, and everyone can say I'm wrong. But look, he's projected if he stays in the first round, he's looking at 27, 28, 29. You know what would be interesting is if he went to the Chiefs or a place like that. If he went late, here's where I'm going with this. This is why it's a better situation for him. 1, it's humbling. He's humbled. He starts over. 2, if he goes to a place where they have a good quarterback system in place, like Tua, Miami could work. He could be a backup for the Chiefs, right? The Niners, he could be a backup for. That would be intriguing. So where I'm going with this is Dallas, he could be a backup. Not in the top 10. You can't pick a quarterback in the top 10 and then put him to a team with a stud that's already getting high paid at the quarterback position. So where I'm going with this is he has a chance now to be mentored by a really good quarterback. Travis Hunter's not going to be mentored by any good wide receivers unless he gets lucky. He went to a really bad team. He's not going to be mentored by anybody on defense in case he's lucky. He went to a really bad team. And I'm not talking about Saturdays, hanging out with NFL guys and doing a couple of reps. I'm talking about having to go on the grind with other NFL veterans, other guys on your team, that chemistry, the reps, the practice, the accountability, all that stuff. Travis Hunter as a rookie has a whole lot to learn. Those guys are going to humble him. Shador, if he got picked in the top 10, would not have learned anything from that. That would have only been problematic for a team, and it would have been chemistry issues all day long, even for a bad team, especially for a bad team, because Sanders is not going to let up. On a bad team, he's going to have all these excuses to be a douchebag. Now, if he goes to a better team, he has to sit on the bench. He's automatically humbled. And if he's behind a really incredible stud getting paid a lot of money, what can he say? What can he do? And then if he has a shot to get in, cool. Philly could work too. I mean, hey, put him on a roster of a team that's got a quarterback who's young, healthy, plus Baltimore, plus see his style. He's a runner a little bit, but not so much. He's very undersized as well. He takes a hit the wrong time. He's out. He is a little injury prone. We saw that last year. So I think if he goes on a team where a guy who's kind of that hybrid, like Lamar, could maybe mentor him, that would be fantastic. I think that would be incredible. So I think an East Coast team would be really good for him, getting him away from that Colorado stuff, get him away from the LA stuff. I don't think a West Coast team would have been good for him. I just think if Shedeur, I'm focusing on being a football player. If Shedeur wants to really be a legend like he talks about in the NFL, it's going to be very hard for him, and he's going to have to do what every celebrity child does in the acting world. Learn the craft. Get really good, because it does, and that speaks for itself, because it doesn't matter who your mommy or your daddy is in acting. If you're not good, you're not getting the gigs. If you can't bring the money in, if you're not the full package, if you can't actually do the craft, it's not happening. That's why I have a lot of respect for Nepo baby actor kids that have famous parents, because it's even harder, and you have to learn the craft. So the same thing applies to football. He's a Nepo baby, no doubt about it. And if he wants to really succeed in this craft, he doesn't have to succeed in anything. He's rich. He's already a millionaire. He doesn't have to do anything. But if he really wants it, this is the best situation for Shedeur, because he really will be humbled and he will have to earn it. And it would be that much more sweeter. And I'll be on that train I'll be on the Shedeur team. If he gets drafted, which it looks like he will, I mean, he could fall to fourth round. He's going to get drafted. That would be where he should be drafted, with the skill set. And then from there, hard work will pay off. And I'm all in on that. I would be very, very excited to see him succeed if he does it right. I'm not a fan of these guys. I'm just not a fan of how these guys were elevated without earning it, when there's hundreds, thousands of other guys that deserved opportunities that these guys got, but they didn't deserve it. But they did get it because they were lucky. Sure, luck is everything. But luck doesn't always keep those successful things in your pocket if you can't stay lucky. And hard work always keeps you lucky. So there you go. So there's my thoughts. I'm going to wrap up, sign off. Huge numbers today, guys. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Everybody is, it seems like from what I'm seeing on all the coverage, most people are pretty satisfied with what they're seeing versus last year. Last year was really weird. A lot of people everybody had a lot of opinions on last year, and everybody was wrong. Some people were right. I do think I'll be right this year, because it's just a different vibe. It's a different feeling. I think the hype is now going to dissipate, and we're going to go. Plus, I also think the Eagles winning was really important. Winning Super Bowl, very important for the NFL, because the Chiefs cheating thing was really becoming a problem and bringing down the sport. But the Super Bowl was fantastic. That was a good start. This is a good draft. Everyone seems to be excited. That's what you need. I'm looking forward to the season now. This is a good draft. We'll see where it's at. There's some good storylines here. But thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful. I just thought, let me get on. Hey, I went a little over than what I planned, but it's all good. Hey, why not have fun and go live and talk about football? It's exciting. We're going to be talking about sports now going into this spring is here. WNBA is kicking off. It's going to be cool. I'm working on special guests to talk about sports going forward. Obviously, I'm going to be talking about the other stuff I talk about and all that. So again, thank you so much. I'm Jason J. Daniel. This is the Jason J. Daniel Show. If this is the first time seeing me because it's a busy internet night and you're running into me, hey, follow me on TikTok. I'm Coach Goat on TikTok. If you just want to talk about sports, I'm all sports on TikTok. I do have a TikTok for my podcast where I have other subjects. I cover a lot of different subjects. One of the things I'm having fun doing is I'm doing a recap of Last of Us. The Last of Us on HBO. I'm into that show. So every Sunday night, I'm doing a recap. Watch the last 2 episodes of my archive. I'm going to do it again this weekend, and we'll go to the end of the season. So I'm an actor. I do a lot of TV stuff. I like to talk about TV and movies, and also a lot of things that I'm interested in as well, and things that you might be interested in too. So thanks for watching again, Jason J. Daniel. Follow me everywhere. Whatever platform you're watching this on, I'd appreciate a subscription, especially YouTube. YouTube's tricky. That algorithm's tricky. So if you could subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Provide your comments. I always read the comments and do my best to respond, so I appreciate that. Also, follow me on TikTok if you're just a TikTok person. X, I have a very strong presence on X, thousands on X, so follow me on X. And also Rumble. Rumble's awesome too. Shout out to the Rumble people. Oh, and Facebook. I'm starting to stream on Facebook, so I appreciate that as well. Thanks, guys. I'll let you go. Have a great night, and I will see you on the flip side. Take care. Thanks for watching. Via con Dios. Go with God.